I'm Keshia Chanté, singer, entrepreneur, and NACO Ambassador. I'm interviewing inspiring entrepreneurs who are part of NACO's Angels and Dreams Fellowship Program. These visionaries are building small businesses across Canada, and they're reshaping the future. Join me as we dive into their incredible journeys. Really cool to meet the both of you, entrepreneurs in this space, but also women. And I know that we are humans, but being women sets a different standard, sets a different precedent, because women tend to be told what box we fit into. You guys broke that barrier and broke that box. So I want to know, what has this experience been like for you as entrepreneurs getting into cleaning?
Mm-hmm. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
And speaking of that women, I think it starts with how we were raised. We both have very powerful, strong women. Monika was raised by a single mom. I was raised by like a nurse who had a master's degree and very academic, and she always strived for her dream. So I think we had that base layer of thinking, okay, we can do this. We wanted to break free from that quote unquote mold of what a woman should do and how women should run their business. So I think that helped to have that mindset of we can do this, we can go after our dreams.
Yeah. Resiliency.
Totally.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the best businesses start off as a problem and finding a solution to it. So what was the problem and what was your solution?
So our problem, we were a cleaning business first, and after years of using harsh chemical cleaners all day, we both began to get very sick. Robyn actually had scarring on her lungs, so that was a huge wake-up call for us and a problem we needed to solve. So we just started making our own products in our kitchens late at night, and then we had our cleaning business so we could test the products all day long with different staff. So we'd be like, you try this all-purpose, you try this glass cleaner, getting all the feedback and us using them. So we were able to formulate these perfect professional-grade, eco-friendly, non-toxic products. And then we were just using it for business, but then our Instagram started growing and then our followers were like wanting to buy it. So we're like, okay, let's start. So at first we're just using mason jars and like whatever. And then it was doing so well. We're like, maybe this is something. So we opened up a Shopify account, and then flash forward to 2021, we actually handed off our cleaning business and just went with the products. It was growing so big. And yeah.
I'm curious how we start with this idea. Like, okay, let's make our own products. But what does that actually look like? Are you guys thinking you're crazy and you're just having fun? Or did you really go in there, set it, and say, let's create a formula for some cleaning products? Like, was that what your first thought?
I would say so. I think at this time, kind of COVID happened. So we had a lot of time on our hands, so to speak. And we were really passionate about finding a safe product to use. So we were really we did a lot of research on Google. Monika late at night was researching ingredients, eco-friendly ingredients, what works with what. And she really formulated our first product as our cleaning scrub. Wow. And yeah, it was just a passion project at first. It was just for us and our staff to be healthy. And then we were posting on social media and they were like, hey, wait, I want to buy that because we're showing how good it was, like how good it worked, how well it worked. And yeah, it was really fun creating all those recipes. Yeah,
I think that the big part of that too is like with our followers, they've seen this growth since like 2020 and they've followed us along. It's like our community and they've known us since we were just cleaning with Lysol around the house, you know? So I think the biggest part of our brand is our community that we've grown on social media and just like the following we have. And our customers have been with us from the beginning and just so loyal. So I just always think that's the coolest part of our business. Just the growth we've had just with our community, we always call it. So yeah.
Joining the Dragon's Den community, getting on the show, pitching. What was that experience like?
Sweaty.
Sweatiest, made for a good reel after we cleaned our sweat stains off our shirts. Project, so.
It was really, we were really brave. It was really difficult. It's not easy going into that studio facing the dragons, but we were really prepared and we were really proud of ourselves. It's I always wanted to be on Dragon's Den. I watched it since I was a kid, and since we started, I'm like, Monika, we got to go on Dragon's Den, and she was like, no, we're not doing it. I'm not doing it. Finally, I convinced her this year. We just auditioned and we got on the show. It was just like, it was so organic what happened and the flow, and then it went really well, and then we have now this network and we're here, and
she
it's
was
just
right
been,
all along.
It's been like
part in.
It just goes to show, do something really difficult that scares you, you'll never know the doors that it can open for you. It was like, it was really a positive experience.
You were definitely right. I was scared. I was just like, just whenever I watched it, I just felt sick for the people, you know, just putting yourself out there like that. So and then doing it was just so surreal and worth every second of it. Yeah.
So cool. So of course it's been a journey so far.
Yeah.
What would you say has been your biggest win and then your biggest setback?
Win? There's been a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were in this. The Jilly Box was a huge one when we
Mhm.
first started our business. Dragon's Den, obviously, we won a Small Business BC award. We're up for an entrepreneurship award, national award.
Yeah.
In
The RBC
November,
Women
the
of
RBC,
Influence.
yeah. And so just like quite
Yeah.
a few little like wins like that. And I think it sounds cheesy, but again, coming back to the community thing, like I just think I don't know what it is, but we have the most supportive customers and community, and I'm just always that's my biggest win. I would say. I don't know for
Yeah, I would say definitely like the
Yeah.
team we've created, the life that we created. I get to work with my bestie
Mhm.
every single day and do this journey with her. I feel really grateful for that. Setback, shipping costs.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Rising cost of goods and not being able to reflect that onto the customer has been a big step. But this is like boring. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is not exciting setbacks,
Yeah,
but it's the reality of running a business that you've run into these issues and trying to navigate all that. So
Yeah, especially when pricing fluctuates and you don't want it to affect the customer. So then you're taking the hit.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're wondering how long that hit is going
Right.
to last
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
And like we were talking to the girls, you just can't charge shipping anymore. These certain things just like that has certain big businesses have created this like standard, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're eating a lot of costs. I don't think people understand that as entrepreneurs. Like, your profit just goes like after you know what I mean? It just starts dwindling, but totally worth it.
Yeah. If you could go back to yourselves at the beginning of this process, what advice would you give that version of yourself?
Oh, I got one.
You go for it.
Triple check labels.
Yes.
before you-
Don't. Definitely triple check
Sizing,
labels.
dye lines,
yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
We've made too many mistakes.
And I would say, like, for us, sometimes ignorance was bliss in our case. Like,
Yeah.
if we knew everything that we knew, we probably would have made the decision. So I would say just keep going. And one of our things is like, if you're not embarrassed by your first launch, you've launched too late.
Yeah.
So don't try and be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. And just get out there and do it. It's like having a kid. You're never going to be ready to have a kid. You just have to go for it and trust in yourself and know that things will fall into place.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, then that's okay. You learned a lot, right?
Yeah, and it's always data. I always say that.
Yeah.
Failure is data.
Totally.
Every time we mess up,
Steal that one.
I'm like, put it in the Excel
Yeah.
sheet. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, we messed up. Cool. Put it in the Excel sheet.
Yeah.
Because I can refer to it later
Totally.
and get better. So now we're thinking about scaling. There's
Yeah.
always higher and bigger. What is our fear in scaling? Do we have one?
Monika has one.
I have a fear. I think I am a little scared of losing that like small local business like feeling, and like I'll use the word again, community though. I do have a fear of that. And even when we told our followers like Dragons, and they're obviously so hyped for us, but you do get the few odd people like, oh, but I hope this doesn't change you. And so I think there is that fear with a small business is you have some charm, you have that like going for you, and then all of a sudden, you're just put on the shelves in these big box stores, and I'm scared of losing that a bit. But then so that's my fear.
Yeah. It does get scary getting like the business becomes such a big thing that you don't have control anymore. So it is scary. So for example, taking an investor and then they having a say in how you do things. And I think, growing, I think the community was big, like losing your sense of your community and that control. And we want to stay in our small town. So the fear of like having to, navigate that too. So
Yeah. I mean, as long as you keep the value and the ethos of your brand intact,
Yes.
no matter what, I feel like you'll feel anchored in it,
Mhm.
but still allowing it to grow and seeing where it can be, because everyone deserves
Yeah,
Totally.
cleaning products that are safe for
that's
them.
right.
So I think remembering the why and the problem that we're solving
Mhm.
will allow you to say, you know what, let me just,
Yeah.
let's just try it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think he said it perfectly in there with like marketing, and I feel like that rings to us because I'm like, we've always taken everybody along for our journey everywhere we go, every step, every mistake we've made. We're so honest. So, and that's when you said that, I'm like, it's so true. We can keep growing. We just keep them along and be so honest about, now we have a manufacturer, because forever we were hand making, and now some of our products are manufactured, getting made off site. So it's just that like just taking them along for the journey. And I think, when you said that really resonated with me. It's just all in how you deliver and not hide anything and be proud. And
Yeah. When you have like such an amazing core audience that have been sticking with you, customers that like genuinely believe in what you're doing and then have been really advocating for you, because those type of, I call them founding fans, so to speak, or founding customers, those type of founding customers, they know the product inside out. And once you change it, they can tell right away, and they really matter. So if those products you can continue to do maybe a small batch at home, you label it the original this, the original that, whatever it may be, right? And then you have the scaling option, and maybe that's like the new and improved or the whatever the heck it is. It just gives people the option to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
I know, I love that.
Yeah.
There's an angle to make people happy. Like
Yeah,
I love
problem solver.
Yeah.
That's your
I
thing.
love to solve
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah, it's great.
That's
I
all
love
I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
Totally. Solve people's problems.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So what does this look like for you on a personal level? Being entrepreneurs, what's that like at home every single day? Like, do you even have a day off or a day to yourself when you're doing these types of things?
Not really. I mean, there's always checking the phones, and like we've had boundaries where like we're not going to text each other at 6 p.m. and that lasts one day.
Yeah.
I think it's just we're so passionate. We truly love our job so much. We wouldn't be doing this all day every day if we didn't love it.
Yeah.
So it's not a burden to us. Sometimes you get in like the mom, get off your phone, or mom, like, you know. So I think that's always a battle, especially with women, the mom guilt of being an entrepreneur plus trying to be present with your children, especially when you know, stuff's hitting the fan, so to speak, and you have to be there. So it is like a little bit of a battle. But we just truly love it. We love making a difference. We love, you know, having, being the decision makers. And
I talk to my mom a lot about this, again, back to her mom's and like single mom with multiple jobs and everything. And she's always like, it's all about quality, not quantity. So I just try to stick that in my head when I'm with my kids. It's like, just be so present, do something fun with them, make the shorter time you have with them so much more memorable. So I think that's something, if people do ask that advice, I try to share it. It's like, that really sticks in my head. So get off your phone when you're with your kids, at least for like 30 minutes, and do something fun, you know, and make it memorable. And
one thing that helps me with mom guilt is like, I'm providing for my family. So there's value to that. So you're showing your kids how to do that as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, is you're providing like for them. You're giving them a life of, you know, that a lot of kids don't have. So that's huge. I always think about that when I'm like, okay.
What have been the challenges for you guys as women entering this space? Because the business space, innovation economy, entrepreneurs, anything like that, we don't have enough women. But boy, are we capable. But there's so many, like, there's so much stigma, and there's so many setbacks that we get from society just growing up. We're not really told that we belong in this space. We kind of have to kick that door open. So it really is like a climb. So have you experienced those types of setbacks because you were women?
Not really. I think there's just the assumption of people. We get asked a lot, how are you balancing it all? How are you managing home life? And
like we can't do both.
You know what I mean? I think normally you don't ask men that. You don't ask men, how are you managing it all? So it's a women thing. It's a balance. Like we're always asked about balance. It's one thing we're not doing right now. It's the balance thing. And so it's not like we have setbacks as women. It's just the conversation that we hear is a little bit different. I'm like, you wouldn't ask a man that. You know what I mean? So that's just little things like that.
And women are just naturally better at talking. So you get these groups, or I find like on Instagram, everything, we just find like other business, like women-owned businesses, and you just like, I don't know, you become allies for each other and support each other. So I feel like within the women-owned business, we're just such a like what's the word?
There's a lot of opportunities because we're women too.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So we have that like power of that community of other, you know, like-minded women entrepreneurs support. Yes, there you go. Yeah.
My rule about parenting is when you spend quality time, take a photo and frame it and put it on a wall with other photos of me spending time with you. So when I'm busy, you always have that wall of reference.
There you go. There you go.
All the times when I hung out with you.
Look how awesome I am.
See, look at all the fun times. Because as a kid, you don't remember anything except the photo.
I know. It's so true. All my memories
photo.
are from like weird photos. I'm like, do I remember that? Or do I remember this photo?
Like my mom hung out with me constantly. It was like I was busy, but by this photo album, it looks like, mind you, I have no kids. So this is just advice.
It's great advice. Yeah, a shrine of you being an awesome mom.
Because they forget.
That's true.
It was lovely speaking with both of you. I can't wait to use the products. I feel the same way. I love to clean. I'm OCD. I'm a germaphobe through and through. I go to hotels. I need everything to be re-cleaned. I'm obsessive. But I have that same issue where I clean and then I'm like, ooh, what's that feeling in my chest? And like, oh, that feeling in my nose. And you know that you're inhaling something you shouldn't be inhaling. And then you try to go the clean route and then you're questioning whether it's clean enough. So the idea that you guys are doing something that really solves that problem, and also to be safe around my kids,
Totally.
safe around my pets,
Yep.
safe around like my loved ones, that is really
We'll
important.
send you some.
We'll send you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you. Send us your address.
Yeah, I know.
Happy to.
Yeah,
So cool.
yeah.
Well, it was wonderful speaking.
Thank
with
you
both.
so
Thank you
much.
so
That was
much.
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.